Hello, welcome to the program Face the Fact on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimbayahos. Face the Fact is a program that gives you that opportunity to discuss issues that are quite very relevant in the society. We equally invite people to be with us on some editions. I really find it very important this evening to tell you that in there I'm going to be hosting the Executive Secretary Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative. The idea is formed to really look at people who are living with disabilities in the society when crisis comes up, like the way we are seeing some of them in this country today. You remember what happened in Kwara State. I had the opportunity of watching an old woman when they were trying to run away from the church, when bandits attacked the church. I saw a woman really struggling to get out of the problem, but because of her age and probably disabled to some extent, walking, believing that she was on speed to get out of it. And that again created a problem. I don't know, but some people told me that indeed she fell victims to these people by being killed. I don't know how true is it. These are some of the things we are looking at when the Executive Secretary comes. He tells us, what do we do with people with disabilities in our society in terms of insecurity, where people, the strong run away and those who are weak, not talk about those who are even disabled, they become victims of these insecurity we see in the country. And so what are the things that we're supposed to do to them in society? What can we really do to support them so that they can get forward with their lives? So by the time he comes, he tells us the importance of these initiatives he has so far created and how far has he gone to ensure that people are supported. I mean, those who are considered to be disabled are supported. This is how far we will go, but this is just the introduction of the program. When it comes, it tells us big. We are going on a short break. When we return, when we hit the program running. Don't go away. This is Global TV Channel 365. Stay tuned. Back, I sincerely apologize really for the short delay within the transmission. Sometimes the computer systems sometimes create glitches and then you encounter some challenges to put yourself back. But of course, we are back and I believe nothing is lost. I've been expecting my guests to be with me in the studio. Kingsley Joshua, it's a pleasure having you on the program. Really, we've been expecting you at the time I got myself introduced on the program.
Well, Gimbo, thank you. Just while trying to get to your studio, I ran into one or two hiccups. Finally, eventually, I'm here. Thank God for the program. And thank you for the invite.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kingsley Joshua is the Executive Secretary, Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative, and we're looking at disabilities people in the times of crisis, like in Nigeria is today. Things are not really well, even for those who are physically strong. Sometimes you run, but you can't get to anywhere. Those who are chasing you get you easily. And those who are considered to be disabled, they find it equally very difficult to get out of a problem. How do we really support them in the society? Those who have been able to escape and they're living probably in IDP camps or in their homes, how can they be supported to ensure that they should get back to their lives and live successfully like any other in society? And he is the Executive Secretary to Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative. I just want to find out why he came up with this initiative and how far has he gone and what does he intend to achieve out of it going forward. So the ball is in our court, Joshua Kingsley, to tell us basically what Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative is all about.
Okay, Gimba, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss disabilities. It's one issue that most times, if we don't come to talk about it, nobody talks about it. It's a case of if you don't discuss issues that borders on you, nobody will talk about it. Oftentimes the conversation about disability is limited to physical disabilities. But the Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative focuses beyond the physical disabilities. We know that there are mental disabilities. We know there are emotional disabilities. We know there are disabilities bordering on economic privileges or lack of privileges. For the purpose of this conversation, I would like to limit myself to physical disabilities. Now, you've talked about insecurities as it borders on persons with disabilities, PWDs. A good scenario you have painted. If those whose limbs are okay find it difficult to escape the chase, the pursuit of these criminals, how much more those who have limited mobilities? So the whole thing drives on. They need in the first place not to even have a situation like that. There shouldn't be a situation that challenges persons with disabilities to either move or be killed. Everything we talked today about the insecurity in Nigeria boils down to poor governance, boils down to insincerity on the part of those in government, in public offices, boils down to corruption, boils down to a whole lot of anomalies. Now you see that poor governance does not just relate to economic privileges or otherwise. It also drives down to the right to life of human beings. Terrorism as we have it today, banditry, kidnapping, and a whole lot of things, is a fallout of a system that has refused to cater for its own. For instance, I grew up, and you asked, how did I come about this and what have you? I grew up in Kaduna, back in Kaduna.
Because I was to ask you, did you experience anything like that?
Yes, I did. I did, as a matter of fact, I did. Growing up in Kaduna and experiencing the riots in Kaduna, I came to realize that persons with disabilities face peculiar dangers much more than persons without disabilities. I saw a family back then in Kaduna, 5 children, father and mother making it 7. They had a brother who was using wheelchair. And in one particular instance, the riot erupted when Kaduna was better language to call Kaduna there was social volcano. It could erupt at any time. The riot erupted and other members of the family escaped. They ran for their life. He couldn't access his wheelchair on time. And even if he had accessed his wheelchair, to what extent would he have run before he would be caught up with? He ended up being burnt on his wheelchair. He was set ablaze on his wheelchair. And for a young man I knew, we attended school together, he died a gruesome death. That is one. Secondly, having stayed extensively in the north, I have seen young, intelligent men and women who would have functioned better if they had access to such things that will enhance their mobility. Now, going back to the crisis, take for instance the situation in Kwara, where government come into a community and begin to shoot at random, leaving the situation to a case of survival of the fittest. If it doesn't pain those in government, it bothers us a lot. How do we do at the moment, we leave the issue of stopping this crisis in the hands of the security agencies. Ours is to voice out and let the government and the perpetrators of this crisis, and even the financiers and their sympathizers, to understand that beyond the political leadership you think you are trying to impact on, you are creating a crisis that will outlive you. So many persons today are disabled not because they want to be. In the last 10 years or so, or more than, since the crisis began, Nigeria has recorded about 10,000 plus disabled persons. Soldiers especially, limiting it to soldiers. About 10,000 plus have been recorded as disabled persons. They've joined the list. You check the National Commission for Persons with Disability, the data is there. In about 2020, that was the statistics. This is 2025, and the war is still on. You can imagine the number of persons that have been added to this infamous list.
Yeah.
That's for the military personnel.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are not the military personnel, we have cases of persons being kidnapped. Their families are asked to furnish the kidnappers with ransom. And in the event that they are not able to, or they didn't meet the benchmark set, 1 or 2 limbs are chopped off. We ask, how do we ameliorate the pain that comes with this situation? Mm-hmm. And that's why our organization, the Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative, decided to speak up.
Okay.
Call the attention of government.
Oh, okay.
Call the attention of those in charge.
Yeah, because I wanted to take you on these 2 keywords, rights and support. What rights are you advocating for them? And you have to be very brief because of time.
Okay, first and first, the Prohibition of Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities 2018 Act stated clearly as to what rights persons with disabilities should enjoy in Nigeria. I take a few of them for want of time. For instance, the law stipulates that a 5% quota should be reserved in terms of during employment for persons with disabilities. The question we have been asking in our organization, have government agencies, MDAs, been adhering to this? The answer to that is no. So the campaign is to get them to adhere to this law.
Oh, okay.
And then for those government agencies like military and paramilitary organizations that do not have the room to absorb persons with disabilities, what happened to that provision of the law? And we are saying where you cannot absorb persons with disabilities, some persons with disabilities, as a matter of fact, persons with disabilities have families. They either have families as brothers and sisters or they have families as children. That 5% that the law stipulates should go to them, to their family members.
Okay.
So we are hoping that government will begin to look into the need to, number one, in times of crisis, provide the enabling environment for persons with disabilities, those who survive the crisis, to function. And how do you provide such enabling environment? There is a law and a proposal, a bill that passed through the National Assembly seeking for the creation of the National Commission for Veterans. That's for the military and paramilitary. Already there is a National Commission for persons with disabilities. But I can tell you authoritatively that even the National Commission for persons with disabilities is poorly funded, if funded at all.
Okay. This particular Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative, is it targeting those soldiers who have been maimed in the battlefield, or it is inclusive the soldiers and ourselves that are found in the street? Some of them, you see them, rolling on any support thing.
It covers everyone.
Okay.
It's a human rights organization. Whether you are military, whether you were maimed in the line of duty as a soldier, or your disability came by death or by whatever means, it covers all. Ours is that we hope to give them a meaningful life by partnering with government. So that is the aspect of the right.
Okay.
The aspect of the support initiative, we are, as calling on government, we have identified, permit the use of the language clusters, a community, a target group of persons who roll on skates and what have you. And we are hoping, we have written to, for instance, the office of the Senate President on NGO, on also disability. We've written to them. Provide us with wheelchairs to extend to these Nigerians. It gives their life a meaning. It takes them. You do know the trauma that comes with depending on a third party for mobility. So we are hoping that these wheelchairs and other support initiatives that we have asked for could come our way, so that this community of persons with disabilities.
I think you are simply saying they should add more, because I've been seeing politicians in one way or the other support these people living with these disabilities. I've seen that really.
What we are asking for more. We are not asking for cash handouts. A man you give 100,000 today, in a short while we still look for another 100,000 to continue living. We have structured a skill acquisition template where the persons with disabilities will be equipped with necessary skills and then given starter kits and also financial help to start and give their life a meaning, instead of having to depend on handouts. Like I said earlier, whoever you give money today will look for money tomorrow. Yeah. But if you teach a man how to fish, he wouldn't need to come back to you to ask for.
When I asked you the first question ever, you expanded the scope of those who are considered to be disabled. And I was like, you said emotional, physical, financial disability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all this. So to what extent will you be able to identify with those who are either emotional or financially,
We have a template for it. At the moment, we are dealing with those who are physically disabled. Those who are emotionally disabled, we have a team of doctors, a team of psychologists to counsel them. Yeah. But at the moment, for the first phase of what we are doing, we are dealing with those who are physically disabled, especially those who have mobility limitations, who need either wheelchairs or clutches to be able to move. And we are hoping that we can provide them with motorized wheelchair not not wheelchairs that they would need a third party to enable them
to help them.
We don't want to do
that. Okay. Are you registered?
Yes, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
We couldn't be operating and interfacing with advising government, interfacing with without being registered. That would be.
So what would be the next phase of your action?
Okay, what we are planning to...
And you have to summarize it anyway.
Yes, we are planning to extend the hand of partnership with the Industrial Training Fund.
Oh, okay.
You know, and relevant government agencies to be able to, in the first quarter of 2026, put together, realize this workshop.
Okay.
So that at least our target is minimum 500 persons with disability should have a means of livelihood and be taken out of begging and what have you.
Honestly. Kingsley Joshua, I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Gimba. I appreciate you inviting me to the studio.
And you will have more time again to discuss similar issues like that so that people will get to know basically what you have in mind for them.
Oh, I look forward to that day.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, viewer, that's how far we can go on the program. Face the fact. My guest was Kingsley Joshua, Executive Secretary, Joshua KB Disabilities Rights and Support Initiative. He analyzed it in the way those who took time to watch us really understood to a very large extent the direction he is going with this initiative. And I believe with determination and focus, he will get there, because there are a lot of people who have been challenged in society that needs assistance like the way he is coming up with. And I believe going forward, government will understand and then give a supporting hand to ensure that he succeeds at the end of the day. That's how far we can go on the program. We're drawing the curtains. Big talk comes your way at 7. My name again is Topsy Gimba. See you and bye-bye.